Wes Streeting fails to rule out council tax rises if Labour win the election. I'm going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline of Wes Streeting fails to rule out council tax rises if Labour win the election. The Shadow Health Secretary said, "We will not make promises we cannot keep or that the country cannot afford." Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So, you guys know how I feel about Wes Streeting. I think he's not good for the country. I don't think he's good for our National Healthcare Service. I think things that he has said about our NHS workers in the past have been nothing short of despicable, as far as I'm concerned. I think he is, in my opinion, out of everyone in Labour, the worst in the Labour Party. However, there are also a little bit of understanding as to why he's saying what he's saying as well. So, at the time of this recording, I have to stress this. Every caveat until I've actually gone through it. I have not read the Labour Party manifesto, and I will at some point be reading it in full at some point. So do keep an eye out on the channel for that. But at the time of this, I haven't. But what I will say is this: Labour have ruled out some tax rises, and some they have not. Now, you might think that this sounds like they're going to raise council taxes. The reality is that we just don't know. We just don't know if they are or if they're not. Now, obviously, if they do in government, obviously we'll be absolutely furious, of course. But at the same time, there is also this problem of our country is kind of a bit buggered right now. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? And one of the ideas that I've always said, and many people will agree with me, is that we should be taxing the rich and the wealthy. The millionaires and the billionaires should be paying their fair share of tax. Some of the arguments from other political parties is that we need to change the taxation and change the rate of reform. Obviously, one of the things that I do know Labour are looking to doing is to close a few tax loopholes and end the non-dom status for them. So there are different taxes and that they can tweak around with to try and raise funds where they need to. So the reason that I don't think Wes Streeting can say that is because he just honestly cannot hand on heart say that. There are some taxes that they've ruled out, and there are some that just simply can't say because they just don't know. Or they're playing it safe, I think is the right word. But you can run this down to the heel with Labour about, oh, they're not ruling out council tax rise. This is an absolute disgrace. Yeah, I know, but here's the thing: what people don't say, taxes are supposed to make us better. The idea is we're supposed to pay in, as taxes, right? And it's supposed to make everything better, contributes to economy, public service, and all that kind of stuff. Tories have risen so many taxes, and you keep asking, because we have some of the highest tax burdens ever under Conservative government, you have to ask yourself, because we're having so many taxes, where is all that money going? Because it's certainly not resonating with me, certainly not resonating with you, it's not resonating with anybody. So you have to ask that question of, where is that money going? So are Labour going to be raising taxes, or they're going to be borrowing? Because they have to get money from somewhere. And the reality is, I think they're going to be doing a bit of both. I think they're going to be doing a bit of both in power. So while I am critical that they're not ruling out council tax rise, I'm also in understanding of why they're not ruling it out as well. They're keeping their options open when they come into power. And the thing is that because if they're saying they're not ruling it out now, and they come into power, and if they do raise it, they can say, well, we never promised that we weren't going to raise it either. So they can play the sitting on the fence stance with it as well. So let's read into this. So, Wes Streeting has failed to rule out an overhaul of the council tax system if Labour win next month's election. As the Shadow Health Secretary said, the party wanted to do more in power than it had promised in its manifesto. Streeting told BBC One Sunday with Laura Kuenssberg, don't take her seriously. She's a Tory stooge, and we know it. None of his of his party's manifesto's pledge to require a rise in council tax. But pushed by the presenter to rule out the country's first re-evaluation since 1991, he refused to do so. Streeting told Kuenssberg, "We don't want to see the tax burden on working people increase. What Rachel Reeves, the shadow chancellor, is going to do is to get the growth back into our economy so that we can invest in our public service and ease the tax burden on working people." They keep saying this time and time again. We have to grow the economy. We have to grow the economy. But we can't tell you how to grow the economy. We just got to grow the economy. But we can't tell you how we're going to do it. We're just telling you, we're just going to grow the pie, as Liz Truss would say. No, expand the pie. But we're not going to tell you how to do it. We're just going to tell you it. Asked specifically about whether he would rule out either allowing a rise in council tax or revaluation of property bans, he added, "Every promise in our manifesto is a promise that we can keep and the country can afford. None of these pledges in our manifesto require increases in council tax, increases in fuel duty, or any other taxes in which the Conservatives are claiming we want to increase." Labour has promised not to raise income tax, national insurance, or VAT during the election campaign. However, with economics warning of a black hole in the public finances after the election, the party has come under pressure to say whether it could cut public services or increase other taxes to cover it. If they cut public services, there would be a lot of anger. That is for sure. Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, has failed to repeatedly to rule out either increasing capital gains tax or allowing councils to increase council tax. Under the current law, any local authorities wanting to raise council tax by 5% or more has to hold a referendum first. High-profile Labour figures, including Reeves, has called in the past for a council tax revaluation. Given what current rates are based on house prices from 1991, Labour in Wales has promised to introduce a new council tax band, though his party recently pushed those plans back to 2028. Higher council taxes could be used to help fund social care, with Labour pledging to stick to plans to cap the amount of money people have to pay for their personal care over their lifetime. On current plans, people will no longer have to pay more than £86,000 on their personal care, which includes daily activities such as washing and dressing, but not housing or food costs from October 2025 onwards. Streeting said on Sunday that Labour would stick to those plans, and he added that the party would look to go further than it had promised in its manifesto if it was able to afford to do so. Asked by Sky News' Trevor Phillips whether the party could spend more on the NHS than laid out in its manifesto, Streeting said, "If the conditions allow, but only if the conditions allow, we will not make promises we cannot keep or that the country cannot afford." Remember, guys, they don't have the money. We can't make promises we can't keep. But if we need to raise money for defence, we have the magic money tree. But, for everything else, we got to look after the pennies. We've got to be careful with the money. Don't worry about the big pile of money sitting in front of us that's called, the big pile of money in front of us that's, called the rich and the wealthy. Yeah, I know we can take that money from them, but we don't want to do that, guys. We don't want to do that. We don't want to tax the rich and the wealthy. I know there's a big pile of money. This is literally, I'm joking, obviously, of course, but I'm just want you guys to pretend there's Wes Streeting sitting there, and in front of him is a big, massive treasure trove full of money that could actually help fix the NHS, fix so many issues. And here's him telling you, I know that money is there, but we can't afford, we can't tax the rich and the wealthy, because if we do, the rich and wealthy will leave and they'll take all their money with them as well. Now, obviously, I'm not a tax person, I'm not a tax expert, but what I do know is that taxes are important, taxes are needed in any fundamental society, but the current taxes that we have are a bit broken, let's put it that way. And there does need to be fundamental changes. And Labour are going to have to raise money somewhere, because, but one thing we are going to have to raise money somewhere, and where they're going to raise it, we don't know. What we do know is that public services need to stop suffering. They want to hold on to their voters. If they want to hold on to power, they need to start investing in the NHS, in public services, in so many things. I don't know where, I don't know how they're going to find the money, but they're going to need to find it fast. Because if they don't start showing signs of change, showing that they've turned a corner as a government, and showing that he's made changes that have benefited the UK, Keir Starmer could find himself in big doo-doo coming the following general election. Clock is going to be ticking on him the moment he steps into that black doors at number 10 Downing Street. But what do you make of Wes Streeting's comments? What do you guys make of the fact that he's failing to rule out council tax rises? Do you think Labour are just keeping it in their pocket? Do you think Labour are just once again playing it safe like they always seem to be doing, just looking to keep on to their lead that they hold on to this Labour majority that we expect them to do? We just don't know. But what do you guys honestly think about this piece? What do you think about Wes Streeting's comments? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.